All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Honestly, I want to do something.
Bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. And
I want to check something real quick. A large room, lots of boxes. I don't know where that would be.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Me.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
I thought it was in here.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is...
No.
When Stanley came to a set of
Found
2
it.
open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Found it.
Perhaps he wanted
It
to stop
was
by
in this
the
room. I
employee
just
lounge
did
first,
not.
just to
It
admire
was kind of hidden. You had to look
And here it was,
in the right direction, you
the
could say.
lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. And there it is, the last Stigley. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Oh, hello. What's going on over here? What the?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the... You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I
Time
bet
to
that's
wake
the
up.
kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
He just kicked me out. Okay, time to do it. What the?
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's just... it's those figurines. Those fiddlers. I haven't stopped thinking about them.
That scared the
since you
crap
had
out of me.
every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
Wait,
I
what?
would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just
Oh,
one more time.
okay. When Stanley found the collectibles. Wait, doesn't this count as a reward then because I got put here because I found them all?
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Haha, 7 out of 6.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Interesting.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Easy.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Nice. Backwards nice.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Huh? Oh, gee. Oh, God. This is bringing me back to frickin' 2008. Freaking crappy camera. found it near the red and blue doors. Thanks for watching. Credits. The narrator, the narrator, the narrator, the narrator. Starring Stanley. Copyright the
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
8 minutes. And they all lead to the same path. Eh? Ah.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here in the warehouse. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
What? Oh. Uh-oh. It's the TV.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Goodbye, Memory Zone.
No, I'm not done. What? I'm not ready to move on.
This is a loading
screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
What?
Okay, yes. This
oh my
spot
God.
in the warehouse. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Really?
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Damn it.
Yes, I love that video.
He just brought us in back to this thing just to show that video off again, I bet. Still don't remember this room.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Nice and pink with an apple.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
What's this way? Yeah, although I feel like the joke is that if there would have been more of them, then imagine having to go through all these, not just once, but twice.
Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Yeah. I was like, where the hell is that last one? And then I find it.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, jeez.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Too bad I don't have any jumps remaining.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
And the office.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Wait, really?
Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the
Will this be the last?
But Stanley had felt the bucket
I
calling
wanna...
to him, telling him
kind of
that
want
the
to destroy this
employee
thing now.
lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I won't destroy it. But at the same... Since I haven't done everything.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
I haven't done this completely.
Good, said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I feel like that last thing really felt like a lot of lore was just dumped right
In
there.
here,
said the bucket.
go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the...
Yeah, okay. Now put the bucket over your wife's
This is the
head.
sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him. The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
This one sounds really sad. Wow.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Wow.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it. Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier. More capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be
This
with
is
the bucket?
getting
Hear what
weird.
the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's see. Done those. Wait, I know what I can do.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
What the frick? This feels longer. Oh, jeez.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
And the meeting room is back to
Still
normal.
no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
No more stickers for the bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
No.
Was the bucket guiding him?
No.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Going up.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing. Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life.
Okay.
Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley. Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
I need a drink. Okay, got my drink. Give me a sec. Okay.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Dang it, Stanley.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be? Said Stanley.
Oh,
I know what to do.
God.
I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. and it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
Okay, so you can't press the
For months,
buttons.
he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One
with the
last
threes?
chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity
Oh,
to share a
they're-
true connection with a loved one.
Why is everybody saying it though? I thought this was a Stanley thing, not a bucket thing. Or not a fan thing, but I guess the fans want the bucket to understand too. Here comes the...
There was no one here.
Oh!
Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Well, there's only one ending left that I know of that...
Stanley decided to
No,
go to
two.
the meeting room to check
Two.
on his co-workers. He
With the
never functioned
bucket.
well by himself. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Before throwing it
Stanley
away.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers. Coming to a staircase,
No stickers.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
I
Yes,
do
this is
feel like
certainly the most logical
bucket
explanation.
has less dialogue when you do repeated paths. But it's weird because they still have a lot of differences with dialogue.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket.
No!
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery...
Yeah.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
What?
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
What?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Oh,
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
oof. See, this bucket, it's nothing but bad news.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever. It
So
takes a lot of
this
humility to carry
ending
a
that I'm
bucket
gonna
so
get
magnificent.
might not be
Stanley
that
checked
different.
his ego and then proceeded onward. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
No.
Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to
No.
the cargo lift.
What?
Okay, this is day number
What?
295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
I can't tell if that was supposed to be a joke or if that was supposed to be like some deep lore
All of his
meaning.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
Wait,
to the meeting
what?
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, let's try to do that escape pod ending. Thanks for letting me know, Vix, because
Still no
I
one
forgot
was
about
here.
that.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yeah, that was freaking creepy. Come on.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation,
Oops,
Stanley
I
may
broke
have
it.
broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the...
Oh, never mind, I didn't break it. I fixed 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 it. I don't know how I fixed it, but I fixed it. The bucket broke the game. Of course I would break the game. And fix it somehow. Okay, let's see. Oh? I think that's the first time we're seeing Stanley's hands without being... Yeah. Honestly, that's very interesting for the ending, because there's been theories about the escape pod ending. Because what I remember, like, from a couple years ago or so, when looking into it, the escape pod ending, you're supposed to be able to leave only if the narrator was with you, and because the narrator breaks, Stanley would pretty much be trapped there because Stanley can't go or anything. But I feel like because Stanley becomes pretty much the narrator, I guess you could say, for the bucket, and Stanley put the bucket into the escape pod was able to work. So I find that kind of interesting that you actually see the escape pod actually working in this ending, while if you did it by yourself without the bucket, it just ends there because the escape pod doesn't work. That's what the theory is, at least. So, which is why it just ends abruptly, because at the normal escape pod ending, because it doesn't work anymore. It acts like it's supposed to work, but it just, like, pretty much the game just stops right there because it doesn't work. So I find that very interesting.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
It's gone. Oh, it escaped. See? The bucket escaped. It actually escaped from this nightmare, I guess you could say. Wow. That goes really freaking deep. That really goes steep.
When Stanley came to a set of
I kinda wanna
open
do something,
doors,
though.
he entered the door on his left.
Or do an old ending, I guess. But still.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
The bucket is like... It's weird. It seems like the bucket is supposed to be like something that, as a lot of endings shown, very like... It breaks the game or makes it seem like Stanley's not supposed to have it, and then when Stanley puts it into the escape pod, takes it away from the game. So that's really interesting. Oh,
Here's the door. Just go.
thanks. This is what I mean by it feels like there wasn't that much dialogue added with the bucket either, while in the normal game it's like, just go, the door's open, stop screwing around.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
Honestly,
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of
it
so
just
many
feels
individuals
weird.
reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
That the escape pod ending led to something really deep there. Because, again, in the original game and even in this game, it showed nothing except that it felt kind of broken or something.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Honestly, the bucket gone right before I did that one ending, very weird, very weird.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that
Yes.
what you wanted? Control?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
No!
Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
I raised them.
I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button.
Or this door.
Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you
Goodbye, employee 427.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
I was half wondering, is the game? Okay. Was half wondering if the door in this version of the game actually did something, because I remember in the original game that there was a door that opened, like as you saw, and it would close if you got close to it, and I was wondering if the door actually did something this time, but as you saw, it just closes.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed the memo.
The game is like, oh no, the bucket escaped. Here, have a replacement bucket. Oh my god, this game, like, it knows things.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Try not to lose this one too. The call out. Okay, you say that? Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply a place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Don't lose this one.
Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
What? Stanley doesn't want to get rid of it.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley
Yeah, see, I
Parable
can't do
characters?
anything with it
Well, you
right
see,
here, but
if
then
you
when I
were
do
to
that...
really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits.
Trying.
What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Well, that didn't do anything. I'm just gonna begin the game again since we already know what happens there. Stanley does not want to give the bucket
All
up.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Gotta know. The setup character? The last thing I kind of want to do for the night,
When
even
Stanley
though
came
I've
to a set of
gotten...
two open doors,
well,
he
I
entered the
might be
door
able to
on his
do...
left. This
I
was not
might
the
be able to
correct way
do
to the meeting room, and Stanley
the
knew it
last of
perfectly
the
well.
things.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
Pre-game.
first,
Oh!
just to
I can
admire
do
it.
that. I can do that.
It was okay.
I have to erase all the
Eager to
data,
get back to
but...
business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
yeah, I think... oh, you're talking about... you're talking about, like, how it said you can find me in the game.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to
is
the
a good
opposite
question.
door, and got back on track.
Because I know there's this, and I know there's the door decision, but otherwise, I don't know where anything else would be. But I feel like the confusion ending might have different
But Stanley
choices.
didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, Well, from here it's Oh no, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Please try the confusion ending. Yeah, that's...
Now, let's
Yeah, I
see.
really wanted to try
Right,
this.
left,
But then
down,
other choices
left,
came about and
right.
was like,
Yep, okay.
I didn't
yes.
want to make
I've
sure
got it now.
the bucket
This story is
couldn't be used
absolutely,
anywhere.
definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
I wish you could take the bucket past the one choice, where you dropped off the lift. But yeah, you can't do that. For some reason they made that unable to be done because it says no buckets allowed, and narrator's like, you're not allowed to bring buckets.
All of his
Let's
co-workers
go
were gone.
gone. What
could
could
it
it
mean?
mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah.
When Stanley...
But
Wait,
this
wait,
does have
what?
a long ending.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
Just like this area.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that
This
room?
area
with
is
all
so
the monitors?
complicated.
Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I don't know who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Story. Where are you at? Story. Come here, Story. Story. Ooh. Story? Story. Yeah, probably for content control.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
No.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
And I'm back here.
All of his
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Yeah, imagine bringing the bucket to Firewatch. Or freaking Rocket League.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The
story. Here it comes.
No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
Let's break the game a little
I
bit.
can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely
Why do I
forgotten what we
say
were
that?
supposed to be doing,
Because watch
how
what
about
happens.
this? You win! Congratulations!
If I do this...
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, Good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this.
As soon
at
as I
all.
go over there...
We both know you
Oh.
didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Notice how it was trying to
I'm getting
fix it?
graded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this
If I
time.
do this?
I have to restart.
Oh, I couldn't do it in time. Oh. What the?
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Stanley Parable
Just follow
2.
the line. How simple is that?
Yeah, if you go into that corner, pretty much that entire area gets blocked off. They fixed this so you can't get on that. That's funny.
No, I'm done. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Get to hear the awesome song. Ooh, solitaire.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute.
No, you
Stick
don't.
with
It's
me.
confusing me.
Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Yeah. This music goes great. What the? Oh, I didn't know that door was shut. This music goes great with this. Okay, look at this. Wait a minute. The funny thing about this is after you go through that hallway .432 does not exist.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
I freaking love this hallway. This hallway is insane. And most people that play the game do not even realize it or whatever. Even when they walk through the hallway, they're like, "Oh, this isn't different."
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? No, 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 not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after
Fired.
everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it.
Restart. Oh, now it's the Stanley Parable Adventure line, not Stanley Parable 2.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild.
An infinite hallway
Use
in the
your
back rooms.
imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Yeah, see, there it goes.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
No thanks.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Hello? Hello? Anybody here?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending?
Yes.
And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
Yes, and after a long time, Stanley
That's really
dies.
how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing.
This wall.
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Bucket's
meeting room.
back.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When
Okay.
Stanley came to a set of two open...
Actually. Jump. How do you activate...
Doors,
I
he
was
entered the
thinking
door
you
on his
could
left.
activate SV cheats and go to the serious room, but...
This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Yeah.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
It was okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
What the...
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration
I don't remember that in
for
the game.
others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something
I don't remember
beautiful.
that.
Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Yeah, I thought that was new. Yeah, see? This stupid sign, I wish I could remove it.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for?
What's it look like when I look?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful,
Whoa.
isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
Meh.
I actually feel No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley. No!
Wow.
Thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we
I think
stop
you move
moving,
slower.
We just have to stop moving.
I think you move slower from doing that. You can even tell the footsteps are going slower.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No, no. What are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for... Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
The only thing I can imagine right now is Stanley just limping.
No, perhaps not. My God, Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
So
I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
So slow.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Okay, one last ending I'm gonna do because I'm not
All of his
seeing
co-workers
anything.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
No.
he had simply missed a memo.
Might give me a hint too.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
Here's the door, just go. Just go.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Nope.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yep.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Okay, let's see.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did Peter think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
This looks all the same. Although this looks different because this was added. And this was added. Nice. These are new screenshots because they originally had the like the promotional art for the first game. Yes. Yep. These are the screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement and the game's delay. Still wish this was in it. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. Action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for tone of the game, plus some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Still think it would have been cool. I mean, imagine a Tron looking area and then in a battlefield sort of thing. Will the Stanley Parable have infinite quests? How many endings? Is this... How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? How is the game going? I hope it's as good or better than the first one from a cool man. Very cool man. Are you a rock? No, I am a hard place. Could you tell me what the significance of the number 1112800 is? Well, the thing I want to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? For instance, on a scale of Max Ernst to Salvador Dali, how surreal will this game be? Were you born with a magnificent voice? Yeah. Wow, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. A small badger in swim trunks? Holy crap. Uh-huh. How do you type with boxing gloves on? Good question, Ben. Why do these rooms feel ancient now? Because they're dark. Game design mock-up. Yeah, I thought they would add, like, this in. Which would be a button going up to the mind control area and down to something else. Here's the Zending. Sending letters. Sending model. What's in here? Wow, the original trailer for 2012. Wow, 10 years ago. Freedom Ending. Boss office renditions. Underground.
Now then, this elevator for sure will get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be. Stanley stood on the snow.
Honestly, at least you can hear the outtakes. The old one.
He pushed them up the line.
You could barely hear them.
Oh, these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time
Don't choose for you.
Don't
Let time. Okay. Eh? Eh? Epilogue? No way. It's back in this area. I haven't gotten every ending, but I don't know when I got this, or when this appeared. Maybe when I did... Feels like it should have appeared after that one area where I said, I just escaped the companion cube. But, wait. Wait, this is the memory house. Is that the escape pod? If the bucket's in here, I swear. That's why this appeared. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. A welcome reprieve from... Posted on April 27th. Stanley Parable developers, no more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. That was just a circle. I think. I don't know what that was actually.
Jim.
Is this the infinite hole? Whoa! Thank you for enjoying the new content. There he is. There's our friend. Hello again. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developers said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense! The Stanley Parable is not sacred We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we are going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also really need a really dumb subtitle for the game. Something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for a game. Yeah, I feel like you get either a certain number of endings, or I feel like it's a mix between getting all the collectibles, as well as, because you went back into the memory area, and going to the memory area in the first place, and then also just getting the bucket in the escape pod, because I feel like that was a big turning point in my opinion, but I don't know, that could have been just extra. The Stanley Parable 3. The end is never... The end is never the day out. It's absurd. It's absurd, but I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. The end is never the end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. You know what? Just so I can see our friend here, I say, yeah, let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Uh-oh. Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright, there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. It's late. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. I wonder what happens if I say this. I was gonna quit, but I just want to see what happens.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company.
Well, that's still the same.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
The
to go to the
bucket's
meeting
still
room.
here.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, we're gonna end this. Gonna end this like how we should end this. Yeah, it's endless whole time after we get the achievement.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Nope. Nope. We're on Stanley Parable 3 now, baby.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure
That
if
bus
I can
made me
loosely
kinda like,
organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Okay, new features. First, let's surprise the narrator.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. As you can see, the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait, what in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement? Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched?
Maybe.
Oh, God. Composure. Composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended. It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe.
When you freak out the narrator, that's when you know you have some omnipotent being over the narrator, pretty much. Stanley Parable 3 for real will be
What else? What other exhibits haven't we
having
seen?
that guy be a main star.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down for... Right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Well, I wish I would have known this sooner. I heard this was glitched, but...
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
So, I guess it was fixed? Because I heard that this was glitched.
Great. Now, I'm very excited. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I can't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Also, you notice how the white dot is a little bigger than before.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
No.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Oh, now you're interested in why it's getting shorter.
Well, there it is.
Whoa.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Uh-oh.
Is the, teleport button not working?
Uh-oh.
You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Wow. Okay. So, that's... What? What? Uh-oh. Why do I feel like something is going to happen and this becomes an actual hole. Oh? This is like an ending itself. Oh no. Oh my god.
Stanley? Stanley! Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so fascinating.
Hi,
I want you to
Princess
be wide
Shroob.
awake for every second. You don't want to miss a single moment.
Oh,
So how
you-
about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the whole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
oh my god. Well, I'm sorry you came this late because I'm literally at what? What? Yeah, it's been 6 hours and 13 minutes since I've started streaming. And yeah, I
Here
guess
we are. Go on.
No.
Check out some of the new features.
I've done well, not everything, but pretty much I feel like I've done 90% of the game, considering I can go to the main menu. I'm on Stanley Parable 3. I can go to the Epilogue. I can quit the game. And let me do one more thing. When I quit the game. If it'll quit. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Stanley Parable 4. It's either me or the electrode. It's either me or the co-worker. I feel like there would just be a lot of content just trying to figure out how high this number can go and how many different background or different subtitles you can put on this. Oh man. But yeah,